Good afternoon, happy Halloween, thank you for watching as always. Before we get into the video today, we've got a bit of housekeeping first of all. We've had Rob Henry for Reform UK be elected in Stevenage Borough Council, and we've had Darren Oxborough down in Thanet District Council, duly elected as councillors locally. So well done to those people, I'm sure they're going to do good work. Question time was interesting last night. There was quite a few good points made by someone who's sympathetic to reform. I actually think he's going to be a Reform MP or a minister in the next government, if not duly elected as an MP. Farage is looking to do a smaller cabinet anyway, so many people that would normally be MPs and sit in cabinet may not necessarily do so when Farage comes to power. So with that ado, we're going to get into the clips. They were talking about some interesting things that the leftist on the panel was trying to deflect. Now we'll get to the video and then I'll comment and make points as we go along. So thank you.
That there is absolute chaos in what our asylum system looks like right now. I mean, whether you look at how slow it's been to process the applications or where people are living and what's happened in some of those communities.
The reason why it's so long to process asylum claims is the asylum system was never designed to incorporate the entire third world. It was entirely set up for the primacy to protect against anything that happened during World War II. It wasn't actually set up to deal with all and sundry for the rest of the universe outside of Europe. That's very, very specific. When this person goes on to say we need to wave them through, we need to process claims quicker, that's what she's looking for. She's not looking to stop it, she's not looking to stop the flow.
But I really want to pull you up, Matt, on this point about saying they're often breaking laws. There are, of course,
disproportionately represented in crime statistics up to a factor of 20. Many may be lawful, although the first thing they did was break the law getting to the United Kingdom. Many aren't. I say one is one too many. We cannot afford to take that chance. They are disproportionately represented in crime statistics.
Some people that are doing things that are deplorable and wrong and they need to be deported and put in jail and the rest of it. But those are the minority. And I really want to highlight this because I, at Christmas, was invited by this refugee charity local to me in East London and was asked to judge a competition that children were doing. And honestly, these families, some of them had come through irregular routes. They want the same things as us. They want
illegal migrants, not irregular. They broke into the country. They are here illegally. Let's be very, very specific.
Same things as us. They want their kids to do well in school. They're coming from places like Iraq and Afghanistan, which most of us here have memories long enough to understand that we had a role in why those countries were in bad way. From Sudan.
As I say previously, question time audiences are hand selected. The clapping seals are handpicked because they're going to agree with the leftists on the panel. That is a matter of fact. You can take that to the bank.
Where there's absolute atrocious things happening on the ground and we don't talk enough about, and UAE is one of the countries involved there and we sell them arms. So again, this has something to do with us, and we should absolutely just push away this idea that somehow we should be scared of all asylum seekers, because many of them are just normal people trying to escape very horrible, difficult situations.
She goes on and on a bit, but you get the point. Refugees welcome. Don't look at the migrants that are committing crime. Don't look at the refugees committing crime. It's all worth it in the end. Now, what you need to be thinking and asking to yourself is, why is this my problem? Why is this your problem? Why should we care? We've got enough of our own problems in the UK without importing more. It's as simple as that. She doesn't get that, and we'll get to why she doesn't get that in a moment. Charlotte Gill made me aware of some information online. I had a look at her X, well, she posted on X, and I'll share what she shared with everybody on X in a moment or two. We've got to Matt Goodwin's response now, which is brilliant.
There's a group of people that really haven't been mentioned so far, which is the British people. When did it become acceptable to impose an extreme policy of open borders, unvetted illegal migrants coming into the country, nearly 200,000, on the current trends by the next general election on the current trends, we will have another 181,000 illegal migrants coming into this country over the next few years.
Who voted for this? Did you vote for this? I didn't vote for this.
You say they don't commit crime, violence, etc. What do you say to the family of Rhiannon White, the young mother who was murdered by a man from Sudan? What do you say to the family of the 8-year-old in Lambeth who was raped by an asylum seeker? Or the 12-year-old in Nuneaton who was raped by an asylum seeker? Or the 10-year-old in Stafford? But this is the narrative that we have, and if we talk about it, we're far right. If we talk about it, we're racist. And by the way, Lisa, your leader, Keir Starmer, just stood at Labour Party conference and said, if you are voting for the Reform Party, if you want to change this country, you're far right, you're Nazi, you're fascist.
Now the situation is, Matt is perfectly on point as per usual. I do actually think he's going to be in Cabinet next Parliament. Now the person, the leftist on the panel, her name is, let's just bring up that information now, Faiza Shaheen, Executive Director, so a nice pay well do nothing job for Tax Justice UK, teaches at the London School of Economics, stood for Labour in 2019 and an independent in 2024. What you need to know about her, she's actually one of George Soros's. Okay, she was trained by the New Economy Organisers Network, which received funding from Soros, among others. It also trained Grace Blakely, Zoe Gardner and Gary Stevenson. This is the type of tribe and this is the type of globalist shill that they'll bring out on the mainstream media, and they don't expect you to know about it or actually beg to differ or ask any different or difficult questions. These are the type of questions they want. They want a wealth tax. They want to tax the wealthy even more. And they get guidelines and notes on how to talk about a positive, create a positive story about taxing people. Taxation is theft. Anybody that actually wants to pay more tax can pay more tax. You don't need laws and government to say and make you pay more tax. You can actually go to the taxman and say, listen, I've got these hundreds of millions of billions of pounds, can you take it off my hands? And they'll happily do so. That's what the people that want to tax the wealthy don't actually tell you. There's nothing stopping wealthy people from paying more tax if they want to pay tax. But conversely, why should people who don't want to pay more tax, who have worked hard for their money, why should they have to pay more tax? And I say this as a working class man. I've got no chuck. Either way, I don't actually care. And then they go on to say things like this. This is more guidance that they're given, so they get talking points and they get told how to sell things, how to basically sell communism to the masses. That's what she's there to do. She's there to preserve the globalist paradigm, and she's there to do her paymaster's bidding, like Soros. Matt Goodwin was on a roll last night. I'll play a couple more clips about what he said last night, because I think it needs to be mentioned.
Listening to a Labour politician talk about common sense, because that is the opposite of what is happening in this country right now. Everybody is looking at the absolute shambles of the borders. Everybody in this country is paying £15 billion to accommodate people who are often breaking our laws. These islands are known for having a sense of fairness. We created the idea of fair play. That is not what is happening in this country. We have governments, both Tory and Labour, which are incentivising people to break our laws, enter our country illegally, and, to be frank, putting women, children, our people at risk. That's what we've seen for much of the last week. From Walsall, Rhiannon White, the young mother, stabbed in the head 20 times by an illegal migrant from Sudan. That's what we've seen in places like Uxbridge. That's what we've seen in places like Bournemouth.
I'll mention this again. It's because the policymakers don't deal with the consequences on the ground. They deal in the abstract, and they deal in absolute abstract. They don't deal in the nature of what these people bring to our country, which is, some of the time, really bad and despicable acts of evil. They don't care. They honestly do not care, because it's not in their backyard. They are insulated from it, out of sight, out of mind.
This is a complete shambles. We need to put the British people first, take control of our borders, leave the European Convention on Human Rights, repeal Tony Blair's Human Rights Act, and detain and deport anybody who arrives illegally.
And finally, he did mention the grooming gangs because this was up in Bradford. We tried to deflect with the royal formerly known as Prince Andrew, and that's what the question was about. I think that the Prince Andrew story is a deflection. That is my opinion. I can't make a comment either way whether he was guilty or not. He's not been proven guilty in a court of law, and I don't want to be sued. What I can say is the fact that it's plastered all over the TV all the time, I think that that is a distraction. Because they can look at a British person and say, look at this dodgy British person, this dodgy character. We need to deal with our own criminals first. He's not actually been accused of anything. Okay, it's all hearsay. I never liked Prince Andrew. However, I think it's a distraction. And Matt Goodwin called them out on it. So I'm going to play this now.
Is why has it taken so long? And around the world, men who have preyed and abused women, there's a reckoning that is now coming, which raises another question. Why has it taken the Labour government so long to give us a national inquiry into the truth of the rape gang scandal, the mass abuse of white working class girls by Pakistani Muslim men?
Hang on a minute, Matt. We're talking about this.
Did you see that? As soon as he brought it up, the host tried to bounce it back and say, you can't talk about that, even though we were in the capital of where it all happened, in Bradford. We can't talk about it. We can't have a conversation about that in Bradford. No. We've got to talk about the royals. We've got to talk about Prince Andrew. We've got to keep it on a white man.
Bradford refused to hold a local inquiry into the rape gangs. Bradford refused to hold an inquiry into rape gangs. Lisa, when are we getting the national inquiry into the rape gangs?
And as you can see, it'll be tumbleweeds with that. But we'll end that there. I think you can agree that Matt Goodwin was on fine form last night. So there you have it. I think Matt Goodwin actually demolished all of the people on Question Time last night, so I really do. They try to curate the environment, but occasionally they've got to let base people on the right on, and this is what happens. It's like seeing a shark slew with an elephant seal, as I've said before. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic that the leftists think they still control the public square, and that's what they don't like. You let me know. Do you think Matt Goodwin's going to be a part of the next reform government? Maybe not as an MP, maybe as a minister? Or do you think I am, making too much of it? I think Matt Goodwin's really good anyway. Those are just my thoughts. Your mileage may vary. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good evening, and thank you for your time. Have a good day.